Every year, Keemstar gets accused of the same thing, and it's really, really annoying. But this one was particularly bad, so I decided to look into it, and boy oh boy, was it absolutely insane, made no sense, and filled with nothing but insane Twitter hot takes from some weird miner on the internet. So I decided to break it down and basically go over it and research it to figure out what's at the heart of this weird Keemstar story. This being said, I don't even like Keemstar. The guy has actually insulted me multiple times, and for some reason he also confuses me with like every other brown guy who makes content. But that's okay. At least the brown guys he compares me to are like hot, I guess. So there's that. Anyway, here I am looking at things for a guy who probably doesn't care about me. All right, guys. So Keemstar is a very polarizing figure. I understand that. I've told people, hey man, don't really have that much of a big deal about Keemstar. You know, guy's basically retired. You know, if he wants to have some racy opinions, who the f cares? When you're an adult, you deal with that, you move the fuck on. If it's over the internet, you care even less about it. Another thing on top of that is that despite what some people would say, I couldn't give you a shit what Keemstar thinks about me. I really don't. Keemstar, please, for the love of God, stop saying the world is going to end in World War III every few months. It drives me nuts as somebody who likes to study geopolitics. Unfortunately, there are people who think very incredulous things about Keemstar. In particular, one of those things is that Keemstar is a pedophile. Never once have I ever seen any legitimate proof that Keemstar is a pedophile, and the ability for him to date somebody who's younger than him does not make him a pedophile. Now, is there a certain point where an age gap is a little ridiculous? For me, personally, yeah, I think so. You know, but Keem and Brantley seem happy. I'm not going to step in the way of that relationship. Good for them. Okay, some people got the age gap relationship thing and it works for them. That's fine. I'm not going to judge people or call Keemstar a pedophile because he's robbing the cradle. Okay, she's a legal adult. He's a legal adult. They can fuck each other, love each other, do whatever they want, file their fucking taxes together. All right, if you think that's the equivalent of some weird power dynamic thing, I'm sorry, but you got brain rot or you're like a child on the internet. But all this to say, I don't really have that like positive an opinion of Keemstar, but I'm not going around spreading false information about Keemstar with the intent to ruin him. Unfortunately, we have some people who are professional exposers here on Twitter.com. Smaggledaggle fucking quote tweeted this Springtrap roleplay account, okay, that apparently had 35 pages of evidence against Keemstar. These 35 pages against Keemstar apparently allege that Keemstar was trying to groom a 15-year-old for soliciting nudes or something of the sort. When you look at this, and this is what really started this, right? I started going through this information and trying to figure out what the fuck was going on here. And as I got through it, I was like, this is a chronically online child that wrote this expose on Keemstar. And we'll go over some of this because this is not Blood's first time in this field, okay? Let me explain what started this at first. So at first I said, I want to find this individual, Kitty, we'll call her Kitty, Kitty's profile. Kitty is apparently 15. So I tried reverse searching this profile picture, and this profile picture is available all over Pinterest. The poster alleges it's the girl in question. This image is actually dated back to 2015 on VK. VK, if you're unfamiliar, is a Facebook analog for the Russian internet. So here it is in 2015, an account by the name of Roman. This is the original image. As far as we're able to tell, this is an Eastern European Russian porn star posted to a VK porn account. The image ended up propagating around on the internet after that. There it is on Facebook being used as part of a baiting account. The original poster of this allegation alleges that that is the minor in question. But as far as we're able to tell, yeah, not only is that not a minor, it is also it can't physically have been the minor given the time period. Okay. The point being here is that the image is commonly used in accounts that are used to bait men for basically, you know, the usual solicitation, pig butchering scams. But that's the first allegation that is the minor in question. Springtrap responds, I've never even had contact with her in the first place, and that's a question that only she can answer, considering she's the one who got that picture in the first place. So this Springtrap has no relation to the original poster of this, and I'll explain who the other characters are in this story. First of all, a few months ago, I tried to research the origins of this image in case something like this happens. No, you didn't. You lied. After doing research, the image originally came from an Instagram model who has millions of followers. I don't remember the name, but I do remember that one of her posts had a picture exactly like this, meaning that the PFP of a 15-year-old girl comes from one of the selfies that the popular Instagram model who has millions of followers posted. It's most likely that the 15-year-old girl is a fan of that popular Instagram model. Interesting how this 15-year-old girl is somehow running around on VK. It's most likely a 15-year-old girl is a fan of that Instagram model. She decided to use that picture as her PFP. Jesus Christ. As for why she has that picture despite a lot of people posting it, on other social medias like Pinterest and some porn sites like you mentioned, is probably because she's in puberty, which is one of the reasons why she said she's romantical a lot. Content in quotes is a character you'll learn about later, should answer, but hers, considering she's the only one who uses that picture as her PFP, and I don't know how she's using that picture, even if it's from her favorite Instagram model who has millions of followers. Maybe she didn't know that a lot of people post that selfie on Instagram. Okay, so now you are just sweeping. Now you are just sweeping, okay? Also, the fact that you're saying that this is mine, 15-year-old girl, despite the fact I never had... Yeah, so... Anyway, they're just sweeping. They're just fucking sweeping. It's fucking cringe, okay? So if we look at the quote-unquote Keemstar files, it starts by giving us a character study of this guy. Content in quotes. Content in quotes is a commentary YouTuber who ended up quitting. So we'll watch Content's video, but this is where the allegations originate. These allegations are 3 years old, and the original video has 5.6K views. So this is like some 15-year-old, 16-year-old commentary new kid on the block. Content in quotes was originally doing creepy stuff on the internet content, and then eventually he left.
Keemstar is one of the most controversial online public figures in recent history. And if you've been online for a considerable amount of time, I'm sure you know this. His list of controversies is so large that it spans over a decade at this point. Whether it be him saying racial slurs or false pedophile accusations.
Alright, so I just want to put into context, about 4 years ago, the content nuke from H3H3 dropped. It was really popular and really easy to accuse and relitigate Keemstar's old drama when that video came out. And this video directly, I guarantee you, happened because of that. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But hey, I wouldn't be surprised if that's the case and it came from the content nuke.
He's pretty much done anything you could possibly think of. One of the more recent ones I'm sure you're aware of, if you know who Keem is at all, is his recent tendency to date girls fresh out of high school, or at least a few years out of high school, as a soon-to-be 40-year-old.
Do women have agency or not? I love the infantilizing of adult women. That's so great.
Man. Some people found it creepy. Some people found it completely fine. I mean, some of these girls weren't even born yet by the time Keemstar was 18. But on the other hand, they can legally consent. Opinions on the subject really depend on who you ask. And honestly, I wouldn't even be making this if it was just left at that. But unfortunately, it wasn't just left at that. As I've recently been made aware of Keemstar potentially DMing 15-year-old girls over Instagram and
15-year-old girls, multiple. So content in quotes, first of all, alleges that Keemstar was talking to multiple minors online, which is wrong, because the only person allegedly in question here is Kitty.
Yo, that is fucking hilarious. What is that, deep fake or something? That is, like, not real.
It's not a deep fake, I don't even know what that is.
That's fucking hilarious. You're a dude making a girl voice, and you have a fucking, like, a deep fake. This is fucking crazy. Do you do this trolling on YouTube or something?
Now, I've already established that Kitty's picture is generally used in accounts that are used to catfish men. Okay, that's an image that's been used to catfish men in the past. So another thing that I think is worth mentioning is Kitty's account. This account has 3 posts with 8,000 followers. That's pretty rare for a 15-year-old. If, in my opinion, I do believe that Kitty's account is a catfish account that was Probably had 3 posts on it of women that are vaguely Caucasian looking, and then it was botted with 8,000 followers to give it legitimacy. That's what I think Kitty's account is, and I've seen plenty of accounts that look like this. I don't think that this one stands out if you had it in a lineup of botted accounts. So it does look like a catfish account, and Keemstar says, "Are you a dude faking a girl's voice?" Which part of it does seem like it's a dude faking a girl's voice, but there's no way to know for sure. So I'll just leave that one up in the air. Keem sounds AI. This predates AI. So this takes place while it's nighttime. I gotta be honest. I think Keemstar is drunk. That's not an excuse. He should have just yapped to random strangers. But Keemstar does sound drunk in this, right? But he's just like, I think you're faking it. Prove it. Now, I'll also say this. Kitty having 15 in her bio like that, this screenshot could have been taken at any time. And I'm also going to show why I think that there's some ulterior motives with this. And I think that this was taken after. Keem sends a lot of voice memos, right? But when it says like Keem sent photos, now he very possibly could have sent photos that were private, right? Or maybe videos, because Keem has done that in like private group chats with me before. These things that say post unavailable, if you look this up, these aren't actually images that Keemstar personally sent to this alleged minor. These are public posts that Keem shared with them. These are posts that are publicly available. And the reason they're unavailable now is because Keemstar blocked the account. So he's going to talk about an old Drama Alert story, right? And he pulls a quote of Keemstar. "Guess what, buddy? I found a fucking video."
Zoe Laverne is 19 years old, and she got caught kissing a 13-year-old boy, a 13-year-old TikToker. Now, many of you might think, well, because she's a girl and the victim is a boy, it's not as bad. I get that. I get that argument. I understand it.
What?
Guys, that was the biggest clip chimp of the century, and I'm about to body this fucking moron.
Zoe Laverne is 19 years old, and she got caught kissing a 13-year-old boy, a 13-year-old TikToker. Now, many of you might think, well, because she's a girl and the victim is a boy, it's not as bad. I get that. I get that argument. I understand it. But it's still like a crime, right? Anyhow.
Wow, guys, it's almost like he cut off the clip right before Keemstar said it's a crime, right? So content in quotes, completely untrustworthy, right? But for the sake of fucking comedy, right? Let's read some of this document. The video clip of the whole conversation came from a YouTube video titled "Keemstar Allegedly DMs a 15-year-old," uploaded by a YouTuber named Content in Quotes on October 10th, 2021. Anyway, how did he get a clip of Keemstar grooming an underage fan on Instagram? It must be because of someone in their friend group telling him about what happened between Keem and that underage fan. This is literally source crack pipe, okay? There is no fucking evidence for this whatsoever. They completely just made it the fuck up, okay? Since the only way he could have gotten that clip is by being in Keem's fan base, and Content in Quotes was a fan of Keem, no proof of that, and has many friends who were fans of Keem, no proof of that. So one of them sent the clip and he uploaded it to YouTube. As the description of his video states, Content in Quotes was made aware of this by someone who knows the underage fan, who's a girl who's involved. Oh, great. I should just trust the random glup shitto on the internet who fucking lied in his video. While the title says allegedly, I wouldn't say allegedly, because when I called out Keemstar on Twitter for doing this to an underage girl, he blocked me, which confirms he did this to this underage fan is real. Guys, when I block a moron on the internet, how is that me saying that, yes, everything you're alleging against me is true? The person who posted this goes by the name of Mushi. Mushi has no relation to Content in Quotes. Okay, the person who posted this allegation has no relation to the original poster of the allegation. Okay, we are 2 parties removed from the original allegation. So there's no proof of any of this. None of this means anything. This very easily could be a meme. It doesn't sound like Content in Quotes is a fan of Keemstars. And then they say the full bio of an underage fan. This is not the full bio. It is lacking the at. Now the full explanation of her bio. What does her bio feature? Her official age. She could have added that after being blocked by Keemstar. She's a fan of Keemstar. Yeah, it's almost like the entire fucking account was designed to try and catfish Keemstar. Okay? She loves being romantic a lot. How the fuck do you know that? How the fuck do you know that? Why? Because she has EXO and like Baby. She loves being romantic a lot. Crack pipe, crack pipe, crack pipe. So let's talk about the original poster of this allegation outside of content, right? So content in quotes gets this alleged minor's DMs and makes a 4-minute commentary video on it, right? Then this individual going by the name of Mushi, who wrote this, re-reports it in a Google Doc. By the way, they're also 18. So you're probably wondering who that person is. Well, boy, oh boy, do I have some stuff to share with you. Now, remember, Mushi and Mushi's friend have no relation to content, no relation to the minor. We're 3 people removed from the original victim, the alleged victim, okay? Which, again, I should say, speaking for a victim like this is fucking insane. Mushi holds no relation to content or this mysterious phantom minor. Regardless, they have quite a record online. So they actually do a lot of threads canceling people, and they seem to make a big deal out of doing this all the fucking time. There's actually an archive of their Twitter during this time when they were exposing other people. This is the allegations posted by our dear friend Springtrap. So remember, Springtrap on November 13th promotes a Google document exposing Keemstar for being a pedo. March 16th of this year, Mushi makes a Twitter thread that gets over 600,000 views, re-exposing Keemstar as a pedophile. But that's not the only time they've done it. Here we go. Here's them exposing somebody else who's allegedly a pedo or something. Here's them doing like a mass flag account against somebody who's apparently a pedo and also uses the boy kisser meme. They repost the allegations from content on the 16th, and then they bring up the allegations again on April 1st. On April 1st, a month later, they relitigate the drama and post this schizophrenic thread with all this weird font choices, right? And they repost it, and 1.3 million views, okay? You know what? If you're an idiot like this, Keemstar could honestly sue you with how much traction you've gotten and how much you keep trying to relitigate this. You're a fucking idiot. You're gonna get in a lot of fucking trouble. This is like the second time they relitigate it. They do it about 3 times on the Mushi account. Mushi does this 3 times, and that brings us to Springtrap, okay? Springtrap relitigates this a 3rd time, and I bet you're wondering why Springtrap does that. Now, not only has Mushi been involved in exposing tons of people, right? But Springtrap has as well. And then on October 8th, they try to resell their story, which is not even their story, about Keemstar being a nonce to Rosanna Pansino, who is currently eating quite a lot of crow, I might add, okay? They also did Turkey Tom. They also tried to expose Turkey Tom. You have no room to talk about this, considering you block anyone who calls Lyrics a predator or blocks anyone who brings up the question on why you let Lyrics have sex with your girlfriend. Guys, why would Tom block this clearly insane person? Why would Tom block this clearly insane asshole who's completely unsympathetic? Here's why they used the Springtrap account. Yes, Springtrap made a viral Twitter thread exposing Donald Trump. So this is the most performative social justice I've ever seen. You are pathetic. You contribute nothing to the social efficacy of American politics. This thread is also filled with false information, by the way. Aside from that, this is a complete waste of everyone's time as a thread, okay? And I should mention, again, this is very performative. This is very performative. And so Springtrap and Mushi and all the friends that they interact with, for some reason, these minors seem to be surrounded by pedophiles, and they keep having to make threads on exposing pedophiles. Now, guys, I don't know about you, but when I see accounts that constantly are talking about how they're surrounded by pedophiles, I tend to think that they're a little fucking weird, okay? I tend to think that's a little fucking weird. I think that's a little suspicious. I don't think that minors should be going around trying to, out pedophiles. I don't think a minor should put themselves in that kind of situation. And these people were clearly doing this when they were minors. Personally, I think I trust people quite a lot less when you're constantly exposing people all the fucking time. Okay, I think that's very much not trustworthy. I've already shown that content in quotes has provided not really good or honest information on exposing Keemstar, right? Now, this is a 35-page document, and I've gone through most of my notes, and I think we're all pretty much on the same page here, chat, is that these people are not only fucking lying, but they're lying because they have a personal beef with Keemstar that is completely one-sided. That, by the way, these Twitter threads have culminated in over 2 million views. This has gone viral. This is a Twitter thread that gone viral. These individuals promoted false information with zero recourse. All because what? Keemstar's a problematic figure? And yeah, I understand Keemstar's a problematic figure. Keemstar voted for Donald Trump. All these things. That's whatever. You know, if you don't like Keemstar for those reasons, fine. But the fact that you're going on and saying that he's a pedophile simply because you don't like his political views is fucking insane. Okay? And if that's the way that you're going to be, then fuck you. Okay? Maybe we should have political violence because you're a fucking crazy person. Maybe we should have political violence. There's another clip for the board, chief. Yeah, well, when they expose me, they can expose me as a fucking radical. By the way, guys, if the moron idiot children who watch this, I'm left leaning. I voted for fucking I don't even remember who was running against Donald Trump now. Holy shit. I voted for Harris. Okay, motherfucker? Okay? I voted blue in the last 2 elections. You got on the internet and lied. And didn't receive any kind of pushback. The girl says that the pictures she sent to Keemstar got deleted, which confirms that the 15-year-old girl sent him pictures of her full body. That doesn't confirm that, okay? That doesn't confirm that they sent pictures. All right? Saying the pictures got deleted. Which, by the way, she would have to delete the pictures, okay? They didn't get deleted. She deleted them if they were sent, okay? Which also means that Keemstar successfully groomed her into sending pictures of her full body to him. What proof? Her last message to him before sending the pictures of her full body was, "So much work, but I'll do it because I'm a big fan," which shows Keemstar was abusing power over her, and she sent those pictures to him only because she was a big fan, and that basically she didn't want to anger him if she didn't send the pictures of her full body, which basically means grooming. This weird circular logic is so fucking, like, funny, okay? Right? Like, this entire... Look at this conversation, chat. Look at this conversation. Keemstar says nothing but sends a Twitter post or sends an Instagram post that's public. She says something. He sends an Instagram post that's public. She says something. Keemstar resends Instagram posts 4 times. What those Instagram posts are, I don't know. If you see post unavailable in image, that's because Keemstar blocked her, and we will talk about why he did that in the next page. It's the final part of the video recorded a conversation between him and her. All right? The girl says that the pictures got deleted because he blocked her. The reason Keemstar blocked her was to hide the evidence that he was grooming her, even though she had access to the conversation still. Womp womp. And he was worried that the girl could have been recording the whole conversation. She was recording the whole conversation. She was recording the conversation as it was fucking happening. And he was worried that the girl could have been recording the whole conversation, blah, blah, blah. Keemstar is very protective of his career and doesn't want the internet to know that he groomed a 15-year-old girl on Instagram because that would destroy his entire career and reputation. Listen, Keemstar could come out right now and probably shoot someone and still have a career, okay? That's the kind of guy that Keemstar is. We'd be like, yep, seems like Keemstar. That's just how it is, all right? I don't know what to tell you. Another possible reason why he blocked her is because he most likely downloaded those pictures that she sent him before he blocked her. You are making this up. Your source is crackpipe. Prove it. He wanted pictures of her full body, so after he groomed her into sending them to him, he could most likely download them for his sick desires. All right. Which he admitted on his "I'll figure this out" voice message. No, he was trying to determine whether or not this person was actually a guy in disguise. Okay, that is not him, like, you know, going, I can't wait to do crime. That's not what that is. All right, chapter 4, involvement of CP. You may think, quote, but Keemstar only asked for pictures of her full body. He didn't ask for pictures of her. I like how he censored the word naked. If you are this, like, if you are this sheltered, get off the internet. Get off the internet. If you're afraid to use the word naked, get off the internet. Soy, 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 soy. Soy, 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 soy. Soy, soy, soy. I like how we don't censor CP, but we censor naked. Then this person goes to the internet and pulls up posts from like a Ask Lawyers website, which isn't legal advice, by the way. It can't be legal advice because then you would be paying money for that legal advice. So then they basically take this entire thing and they're like, see, this lawyer said it was. Let's see, generated images indistinguishable from an actual minor, and images created, adapted, or modified but appear to depict an identifiable actual minor. If the person takes pictures, film, or video of a person under 18 that has sexually suggestive, or even they themselves, it's called production of child pornography. If they have an image on their phone, blah, 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 it's called possession. So they're just literally explaining what the laws are. Okay? They've literally, like what Shad did to Keem. Wow. 3 federal felonies, which they could be sent to federal prison even if they are a minor. It would only be 2 federal felonies. There also may be state laws that can... So this is them just repeating the laws, okay? So, as you can see, posting a picture of a fully clothed underage girl online is indeed illegal. Okay, chat, I know we all used to be teenagers. I used to post pictures of myself on the internet as a teenager. So does that mean, like, I was fully clothed in those, but does that make it a crime that I just existed on the internet before the age of 18? Because that's the way that's working. Here's one more answer from the lawyer confirming that the picture of a fully clothed underage girl... I like how the preponderance of like the evidence that we can't see has already changed. All right, it went from being unclothed image of woman of girl, right, to clothed image of girl. Is still CP if it's sexually suggestive. Is it illegal for a minor to send pictures in their bikini? If it's sexually suggestive, even if fully clothed, it could be considered child porn. Yes, but this is also like not a legal opinion and also would need to be tried in court. Like the barriers that you'd have to go through to determine whether or not a post that somebody posts online is CP is quite high. Okay. Keemstar is a self-admitted groomer and pedophile who groomed a 15-year-old girl on Instagram. I'm sorry. I know it would be a waste of time for Keemstar to sue you, but Keemstar should sue you. Keemstar should sue you and ruin your child life. Holy shit. These allegations, these aren't allegations or accusations. It was self-admitted by him. Holy fuck, I hope your life is ruined. How did this get 1 million views the first time? How did this get 600K views? The fact that this keeps getting re-litigated and constantly keeps coming up again is fucking insane. Okay, the fact that nobody has called this out before is insane. The fact that commentary hasn't picked this up before is insane, because this is not only very easy to just absolutely rip to shreds, but the fact that this has gotten so far with everybody just believing it because they hate Keemstar is fucking insane. The fact that we are just so okay with people producing misinformation in the year of our Lord and Savior 2024 is just fucking pathetic. Okay, I am so fucking tired of misinformation. I'm really passionate about news and journalism. I'm passionate about those things. The fact that this keeps happening, and the fact that it gets so promoted, and the fact that it keeps happening because we think it's emotionally true is insane. I get it. We don't like Keemstar. Emotional truth is something, but we can't just run around lying about people because we don't like them. It's ridiculous.